All right, guys. So now we got Markel Maderos versus Austin Hubbard. So Austin Hubbard, he's 4-6 in the UFC, and to be honest, guys, there's nothing special about this guy. He has never gotten KO'd. He has 4 KOs. He's never gotten KO'd. Markel Maderos, he's a striking realm type of guy, so he'll keep it on the feet. Austin Hubbard, he's had trouble in the past losing by decision or submission. So I'd say Marco Medeiros will take this to a decision, just like his first fight in the UFC, and will win. And I think Marco Medeiros continues with his record going up to 10-1. All right, guys, Jamal Emmers versus Gabriel Miranda. Now, this fight, guys, a lot of people have it for Emmers in his favor, but I have it for Gabriel Miranda. I mean, he's an excellent submission artist. Don't get me wrong, Emmers a much better striker, much better striker. I don't believe Gabriel Miranda is very good on the feet, and he will struggle if it stays on the feet. But I don't think Emmers will be able to stop Gabriel Miranda when it comes to the ground game. I mean, Gabriel Miranda, he's in the double digits in submissions, and the guy's never gotten submitted. So I believe it's just two different worlds. In the striking realm, Jamal Emmers will be much ahead, and on the ground, Gabriel Miranda will dominate. And Gabriel Miranda doesn't just hold you; he'll go for the submission no matter what. He'll always be looking for something, and I think Gabriel Miranda will find it in possibly the first or second round. All right, guys. Now you got Rafa Garcia versus Vince Pichel. Now, guys, Rafa Garcia, he's gonna beat Vince Pichel. I mean, Pichel has shown that he cannot deal with grapplers, especially in his two last fights. Now, Rafa Garcia, he tends to end these fights in submissions and is very talented at it. This guy's a very good grappling game, and I just see him taking control of this fight on the ground and submitting Vink Pichel. I don't think it's going to be highly competitive. Now, maybe it will be, but I really don't think it won't. Rafa Garcia is just very high level on the ground, and I don't see Pichel on that level right now. So, guys, easy money. Rafa Garcia. All right, guys. Now you got Lupi Godinez versus Julia Palastri. Now, guys, I got this fight to go to decision. Now, Lupi Godinez could win this fight. She's 7-5 in the UFC. Then you got Julia Palastri. That's 1-1 in the UFC. Now, Julia Palastri, she finishes it by KO. She tends to finish it by KO. And Lupi Godinez has never gotten KO'd. And she tends to finish it by submission, but very rarely. Both of these girls are decision demons. All right, guys, this fight is going to decision. So if you guys are making a parlay, put this fight to go to decision. I firmly believe this fight will go to decision. Now you got Lupi Godinez that I don't know. There's nothing really interesting about this girl, if I'm being honest, guys. She has a bit of a submission game, which is kind of cool. But then you got Julia Palastri that she's pretty good at defending submissions, and I don't believe she'll get caught in one. So I'm gonna lean towards Julia Palastri just because I believe girl fights, a lot of them tend to stay on the striking realm, and I think Julia Palastri is just going to keep it up there, and she's going to beat Lupi Godinez on the feet because Lupi Godinez, whether you like it or not, she's not a very good striker. All right, guys, now we got Christian Rodriguez versus Melkozile Costa. Now, guys, I got Christian Rodriguez in this fight. I do believe he's just been beating all these young prospects, and I don't see him not beating Melkozile Costa. Now, Melkozile Costa, he has very good submissions, but so does Raul Rosas Jr. and Christian Rodriguez shut him down. He really shut him down. And I don't see it being different for Melkozile Costa. I don't think he's higher level than Raul Rosas Jr. And I just see Christian Rodriguez winning this fight. But guys, if you guys don't want to take a risk and you guys are going to be betting, I'll give you my free pick right now. Christian Rodriguez by decision and Melkozile Costa just to win. You do it on separate betting apps, and no matter what, you'll get plus money. And yeah, you just put it through an arbitrage calculator, and you'll win. You'll win money. There's no doubt that Christian Rodriguez does not finish Melkozile Costa. He will not finish Melkozile Costa because Costa, well, I don't know. I just find he's a dog, and I just don't see it happen. Christian Rodriguez, he takes these prospects to decision. He doesn't take them to a finish. And yeah, that's my take, guys. I got Christian Rodriguez, but if you guys are going to bet, just do that. All right, guys. Now we got Jose Medina versus Araba Gauthier. Now, from what I've seen of Jose Medina's fights, he tends to let the other fighter control the way the fight goes. He leaves the other guy on the front foot, and that's not going to work versus a guy like Araba Gauthier. From what I've seen, this guy, when he's on the front foot, he really controls the fight, and it always ends in a KO for him. Now he has one decision loss, but that was early in his career, and we can't judge that. This guy went into the Contender Series and dominated in his first fight. Now this is going to be his UFC debut, and obviously that comes with a lot of pressure. I mean, seems to be that every Contender Series fighter that Dana White has been signing lately has been losing their UFC debut. But guys, this could be the turning of tides. We could see Adama break the streak, and hopefully he beats Jose Daniel Medina. I got my pick, Adama. I'm a believer. All right, guys, now we got Edgar Chairez versus CJ Vergara. Now, I see Edgar Chairez dominating this fight on the ground. I mean, CJ Vergara, he has 2 losses by submission and has never done anything on the ground really, productively here. Now, I see Chairez just be dominant on the ground and submitting CJ Vergara. I mean, Chairez, his only win in the UFC, he's 1-2 in the UFC, but his 2 losses are versus very highly talented guys, and his only win is by submission. Now, this guy's a grapple heavy type of guy, and we've seen him on the feet. This guy's still a dog. This guy will still strike with you no matter what. And I think Edgar Chairez has the ability to just purely dominate CJ Vergara. I haven't seen anything special from this guy. He's like 3-4 in the UFC, and he's just hasn't done enough and faced the high level competition that a guy in Chairez has. Now we got Ronaldo Rodriguez versus Kevin Borjas. Now, here's the thing about this fight, guys. It's another one of those boost the guy's stock type of fights. Kevin Borjas, he's proved nothing in the UFC. He's lost twice, and he's only fought twice in the UFC. Now, Ronaldo Rodriguez, he had a very entertaining fight versus Osborne. Now, I was kind of worried about his chin, but this guy's an incredible dog. This guy's a real dog. And I don't think Kevin Borjas could really do anything to Ronaldo Rodriguez. And I just see this as a stock booster, guys, really. Like, it's going to be a highlight for Rodriguez or a highlight decision, but we all know that Ronaldo Rodriguez is meant to dominate this fight. All right, guys, now we got David Martinez versus Simon Oliveira. Now, this fight is going to be a striking fight. I think David Martinez has much better striking than Simon Oliveira, and I do believe a TKO is in the works for this fight for David Martinez. Now, Simon Oliveira, I would love to say good things about him, but he went 1-0 in the Contender Series, and then he followed it up with 2 losses in the UFC. Now, if he loses this fight, he's getting cut from the UFC, no doubt. Now, David Martinez, it's up to him. Is he going to win the fight? I do think so. I just see him as a higher level fighter than Simon Oliveira, and I'm excited for this guy's career. Now, please don't lose, because we really need these upcoming prospects coming up, and every time they seem to lose for some reason. All right, guys, now we got the youngster Raul Rosas Jr. versus Vince Morales. Now, here's the thing about this fight, guys. Vince Morales, don't get me wrong, he has some very good chokes, but that's just meant to look good here. Raul Rosas Jr. has much higher level grappling than Vince Morales, and he's 3-7 in the UFC, not very high level. Raul Rosas Jr., his only loss is to C-Rod, and C-Rod, he's pretty good, if I'm being honest, guys. Like, seriously, there's no shame in that loss. He was very young, I think he's going to dominate Vince Morales here. Now, it could go to a decision, or I could see Raul Rosas Jr. choking out Vince Morales. But I would say I would lean towards more decision here. Raul Rosas Jr., a lot of his fights have been going to decision. We haven't been getting much finishes. Well, we did get like a TKO and a submission, but it's just, I don't think it's going to happen here. And I think Vince Morales, he has enough defense on the ground to take it to a decision, but Rosas is going to dominate. All right, guys, next up we got Kelvin Gastelum versus Joe Pyfer. Now, here's the thing, guys. Joe Pyfer, I think he's just going to be dominant in this fight. He's a taller guy, and he's on the come up more than Kelvin Gastelum. Kelvin Gastelum is not the same one that fought Israel Adesanya and gave him one of his toughest challenges. This is a different fighter nowadays, guys. I mean, he went down to welterweight. He lost down there as well, and now he's back in middleweight. And I see Joe Pyfer just doing what all the middleweights have been doing to him recently. And I just see Kelvin Gastelum losing here. Joe Pyfer, obviously, he lost to Jack Hermanson, but he came back with a win. And I think he's going to get another win over Kelvin Gastelum. I just don't think Kelvin Gastelum is as elite as he was back then. All right, guys, now we got Manuel Torres versus Drew Dober. Now, this is not a fight I would bet on, really. If you guys have like some type of app where, you could say that the fight ends in a KO, then yeah, definitely, because either way, it's going to end up in a KO no matter what. Manuel Torres and Drew Dober, these guys always go for a KO. These guys are both going to end up in the hospital after this fight, especially how much Drew Dober just gets cut in fights or swells up. They're both ended up in the hospital. Now, Manuel Torres, this guy's coming off a loss versus Ignacio Balmondes. And, Ignacio Balmondes, he's really good, so I don't blame him for losing to him. But it was by TKO, so you're riding a TKO loss. Then you got Drew Dober. He's getting up there in age. He just hasn't been the same. And this guy was never high level, but he would always go for the KO. But lately, he's been getting KO'd. Now, I would lean towards the younger guy, Manuel Torres, but I wouldn't be surprised if Drew Dober sneaks a KO over Manuel Torres. And yeah, that's my prediction here, guys. I think Manuel Torres will win this fight, most likely, but I wouldn't be surprised if Drew Dober. All right, guys, we've got Brandon Moreno versus Steve Erceg. Now, Steve Erceg, I feel bad for the guy. I feel like he jumped in competition way too quick. I mean, this guy was like number 10 ranked when he fought Pantoja for the title, which was just crazy. And he put up a great fight. But then right after, he fought Kai Kara France. I do believe he was winning the fight before he got KO'd, even though he got KO'd in the second round. But I do believe he was winning. And the guy has very good stand-up game. But here's the thing. You're facing basically the boogeyman of the division. You got Brandon Moreno, it's either he has the title or doesn't, but he's acting as the champion when he doesn't because he beats every other contender as well. This is like the Max Holloway, Alex Volkanovski situation kind of when you look at it. So I don't think Steve Erceg could beat Brandon Moreno. I mean, Brandon Moreno, when he's on his game, he's elite. And in his last fight versus Amir Abazi, I've never seen him so locked into a fight other than his Figueiredo fights. I mean, this guy was just a pure dog, This guy like shut him down completely, and Albazi couldn't do nothing in this fight. And I don't believe Steve Erceg will get as dominated like Albazi did, but I'll still see like a 4-1, maybe 3-2. But yeah, I just don't believe Steve Erceg is on the level of Brandon Moreno in this fight. If you want your UFC picks for this Saturday, just follow my Instagram at Fight Capital Media. I'll be posting my fight night picks on Friday, I believe. So yeah, just follow, guys, and make sure to subscribe if you want more of these fight night breakdowns. And let me know in the comments what you think. All right, guys, if you want your UFC picks for this Saturday, just follow my Instagram at Fight Capital Media. I'll be posting my fight night picks on Friday, I believe. So yeah, just follow, guys, and make sure to